Prologue. October 15, 1:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Ross Dock Picnic Area, Fort Lee, New Jersey. Almost nothing about the man was as it appeared. He seemed tall, a bit over 6 feet, but he was wearing 2-inch lifts inside his fine leather boots, which themselves had 1-inch heels. He seemed to have a thick blonde beard. In fact, it was a cleverly crafted fake, glued to his face with the skill and care that Hollywood cosmetic specialists use when working on film actors. He seemed to have long blonde hair tied in a ponytail. Same. The wig was as high quality as the beard and affixed to his head with equal care. In fact, his head was closely shaven. His real hair was dark, and if allowed to grow out, would show him to be a victim of early male pattern balding. He wore colored contact lenses to make his brown eyes seem pale blue. His eyebrows were dyed blonde and could easily and quickly be dyed back to their normal color. He often went by the name Sven. He had no idea why, but he found this amusing, perhaps because he was as far from a Nordic Sven as humanly possible, both physically and in outlook. He also found it amusing how a man like him, what some might call a true believer, even a religious extremist, could find common cause with a nihilistic businessman. A man who was happy to tell you that he believed in nothing but the material world that he could touch and see. He shook his head and smiled. It helped that the pay was good. Very good. He left the car in the parking lot and walked across the grass to the far southeastern corner of the park. He skirted the edge of a large family gathering, which he supposed had about 30 people, and was monopolizing 4 picnic tables and 2 charcoal grills. The adults stood around, drank beer, and ate hot dogs and hamburgers. The children chased each other in circles. A couple of dogs jumped and barked. A few of the older kids were messing with a small toy drone. It was a lovely fall day, great for a barbecue. The park was just north of and well below the George Washington Bridge. The bridge loomed overhead in the near distance, cutting across the pale blue sky. Sven could see the westbound cars and trucks crossing it on the upper level, moving from New York City to New Jersey. Below the bridge, on the distant side of the Hudson River, the skyline of Manhattan marched south. This was a good spot. He had considered Liberty State Park, but it was too close to the target. Impact would happen much more quickly from there, which would have given him no time to disappear. Yes, there was more chance of interference when launching from this distance, but how much chance was there really? Not much. Not much at all. Sven was carrying a large, heavy pack which weighed on his shoulder. When he was close to the water's edge, he set it down. Then he went back to the car and got another heavy pack nearly identical to the first. He glanced back at the family. No one over there was looking at him. Soon he was alone by the water again. He opened both packs and pulled out the various parts of the drone. They tended to fasten together with relative ease. It was much larger than the toy drone that the kids had, but it was still relatively small as drones went. He connected the 4 sections of the fuselage, making the body about 2 meters in overall length, and quite bulbous. Along the inside of each side of the fuselage was a closed compartment, which contained the drone's payload, and to which he had no access. They were by far the heaviest parts. He slowly and meticulously connected the drone's 4 arms and 8 rotors. At the end of each arm, the rotors were attached horizontally both above and below the bracket there. When he was finished, the drone looked like a very large, very scary, very pregnant spider. It was all black, with 2 sensors on top and 9 cameras mounted on an appendage from the bottom. 8 of the cameras were multidirectional and could move autonomously, including both up and down. The 9th camera faced down and was also multidirectional. The thing had a field of vision that no living creature could match. Sven took out the controller
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.